Have you ever noticed people checking their phones more often when you're talking, or seen that look in someone's eyes when they're desperately searching for an escape from your conversation? The uncomfortable truth is that most people won't tell you directly if you're being annoying. They'll just quietly distance themselves instead. We all like to think we're beloved by everyone around us, but the reality is that many of us engage in behaviors that make others cringe internally. The worst part? These habits are so ingrained that we often don't even realize we're doing them. Today we're diving deep into the 5 telltale signs that you might be that person, the one everyone tolerates, but secretly finds exhausting to be around. If you're brave enough to face the truth, this could be the wake-up call that transforms your relationships forever. The silent treatment, when your social circle slowly shrinks. Before we explore these behaviors, let's address the elephant in the room. People rarely confront annoying behavior directly. Research shows that most conversations don't end when people actually want them to, with only about 2% of conversations ending at the ideal time for both participants. This means people are constantly trapped in interactions they'd rather escape from, but social politeness prevents them from speaking up. The result? They simply stop including you. They don't answer your calls as quickly, they're mysteriously busy when you suggest hanging out, and invitations to social gatherings somehow never reach you. This passive avoidance is far more common than direct confrontation, which is why many annoying people remain blissfully unaware of their impact on others. Sign 1. You monopolize every conversation. The behavior. You talk for extended periods without giving others a chance to speak, treating conversations like personal monologues rather than exchanges. Why it's toxic. Conversation monopolizers create an exhausting dynamic where others feel unheard and unimportant. People who engage in this behavior often act as if every social interaction is a competition to see who can talk the most before allowing others to contribute. They continue speaking even when others clearly want to change topics or show signs of disinterest. What others really think. When you monopolize conversations, people become mentally checked out. They're not actually listening to your words anymore. They're calculating how to escape the interaction. Research reveals that people who don't allow others to participate in conversations are perceived as self-centered and inconsiderate. The hidden psychology. Sometimes this behavior stems from attention-seeking tendencies or social anxiety, where talking becomes a way to fill uncomfortable silences. However, the irony is that by trying to connect through excessive talking, you actually push people further away. How to fix it? Start practicing the 50 rule. Aim for roughly equal speaking time in conversations. Ask open-ended questions and actually wait for complete answers before responding. If you catch yourself talking for more than 2 minutes straight, pause and ask, "But what do you think about this?" Sign 2. You only talk about the same 3 things, the behavior. Your conversation topics are painfully predictable. Whether it's your job, your ex, your health problems, or your latest Netflix obsession, you seem incapable of discussing anything else. Why it's annoying. This repetitive pattern makes you completely predictable and tedious to be around. People start avoiding you because they already know exactly what you're going to say before you say it. Your lack of conversational variety signals that you're either completely self-absorbed or have no curiosity about the world beyond your narrow interests. The deeper issue. This behavior often reveals someone who lacks intellectual curiosity and has limited life experiences. When people can predict your entire contribution to any conversation, you become background noise rather than an engaging participant. Real-world impact. Imagine being at a dinner party where someone only talks about their work in accounting, their cat, and their ongoing disputes with their neighbor. After the 3rd gathering, would you look forward to seeing them again? Probably not. The solution: develop what psychologists call conversational intelligence. Read diverse news sources, ask others about their interests, and actively cultivate new hobbies or learning experiences. Before entering social situations, prepare 3 different topics you can discuss that don't center around your usual subjects. Sign 3. You have 0 sense of humor, or worse, a bad one. The behavior. You take everything seriously, struggle to laugh at yourself, get offended by harmless jokes, or make inappropriate comments you think are funny. Why humor matters. Research consistently shows that humor is one of the strongest predictors of relationship success and social connection. People with a good sense of humor are perceived as more attractive, approachable, and emotionally intelligent. Conversely, those who lack humor or use inappropriate humor are seen as socially awkward and difficult to be around. The science behind it. Studies reveal that adaptive humor styles, like affiliative humor that brings people together, enhance relationship quality, while maladaptive humor, aggressive or self-defeating, damages social connections. People who can't laugh at themselves or find appropriate ways to be lighthearted create tension in social situations. What this looks like. You might be the person who responds to every playful comment with a serious correction, takes offense when friends tease you gently, or makes jokes that make others uncomfortable. You might also be someone who never laughs genuinely or seems perpetually grumpy. Safika, start by consuming comedy content. Watch comedians, funny shows, or read humorous books to develop your sense of what's genuinely funny versus offensive. Practice self-deprecating humor, gently making fun of yourself, and learn to laugh when others make harmless jokes about you. Most importantly, observe social cues to understand when humor is welcome and when it's not. Sign 4. You're completely socially oblivious. The behavior. You consistently miss social cues, ignore contextual appropriateness, and fail to read the room. What this looks like. You're the person who talks loudly in libraries, shares inappropriate personal information in professional settings, or continues telling a story even when everyone is clearly uncomfortable. You might also be oblivious to when others want to end conversations, change topics, or need personal space. Through research, studies on social sensitivity show that moderate levels of social awareness lead to the best interpersonal outcomes. People with extremely low social sensitivity, like those on the autism spectrum, struggle with relationships, while those with moderate sensitivity excel at reading situations and adjusting their behavior accordingly. Why it's relationship poison? Social obliviousness makes others feel unheard and disrespected. When you can't pick up on basic social signals, people feel like you don't care about their comfort or feelings. This creates a barrier to intimacy and trust. Examples in action. Continuing to tell jokes during a serious conversation. Sharing intimate details about your personal life on a first meeting. Being loud and disruptive in quiet, focused environments. Not noticing when someone is trying to end a conversation. The solution. Develop what researchers call social affective sensitivity. Start by observing others' body language, facial expressions, and verbal cues. Practice asking yourself, how might others be feeling right now before speaking or acting? When in doubt, mirror the energy and volume of those around you. Sign 5. You complain about everything. The behavior. You have negative commentary about virtually everything, from minor inconveniences to major life events, and you share these complaints freely with anyone who will listen. Why it's toxic. Chronic complaining creates a toxic environment that drains everyone around you. Research shows that excessive negativity not only affects your own mental health, but also significantly impacts the well-being and motivation of people in your social circle. The psychology. Complainers often use negativity as a way to seek attention, validation, or sympathy. However, this strategy backfires spectacularly. Instead of receiving support, chronic complainers find themselves increasingly isolated as people actively avoid their negative energy. What others experience. When you constantly complain, others feel emotionally drained and frustrated. They start to associate you with negative feelings and stress, making them less likely to seek out your company. People begin to see you as someone who brings problems without solutions, which is exhausting to be around. The impact on relationships. Studies reveal that people who focus primarily on problems rather than solutions are perceived as less competent and less likable. Your complaints stop being seen as legitimate concerns and start being viewed as personality flaws. Breaking the cycle. Before voicing a complaint, ask yourself, is this something I can solve or am I just venting? If it's solvable, present potential solutions alongside the problem. If it's just venting, consider whether this is the right time, place, and person for your frustration. Aim for a 3.1 ratio, 3 positive or neutral comments for every complaint you share. The uncomfortable truth. Why people don't tell you. Here's what makes this whole situation particularly insidious. People won't directly tell you that you're annoying. Social norms dictate that we should be polite and avoid hurting others' feelings, even when their behavior is problematic. Instead of confrontation, most people choose the path of least resistance, gradual avoidance. This means you might be getting positive feedback to your face while people are secretly planning to limit their interaction with you. They'll smile and nod during your monologues, laugh politely at your inappropriate jokes, and make excuses about why they can't hang out. The relationship cost. What you're really losing. The consequences of these behaviors extend far beyond occasional social awkwardness. Research shows that people who consistently display annoying behaviors experience decreased social invitations and opportunities. Reduce professional advancement, networking becomes difficult when people avoid you. Lower relationship satisfaction. Even close friends and family become frustrated. Increased loneliness and isolation. Negative impact on mental health due to social rejection. Studies reveal that people who are perceived as boring or annoying are actively avoided by others, with some people even requiring financial compensation to spend time with them. This isn't hyperbole. It's documented research showing just how damaging these behaviors can be to your social life. Your social rehabilitation, the path forward. The good news? These behaviors are entirely fixable with awareness and effort. Here's your action plan. Record yourself in conversation with permission to hear how much you actually talk. Ask trusted friends for honest feedback about your social habits. Practice the pause. Count to 3 before responding in conversations. Develop genuine curiosity about others by preparing thoughtful questions. Read widely to become a more interesting conversationalist. Practice active listening. Focus entirely on understanding others rather than planning your next response. Develop emotional intelligence through mindfulness and self-reflection. Seek feedback regularly from people who care enough to be honest with you. If these patterns are deeply ingrained or stem from underlying anxiety, depression, or social skills deficits, consider working with a therapist who specializes in social skills training or cognitive behavioral therapy. The reality check you need. Here's the most important question you need to answer honestly. When was the last time someone actively sought out your company? Not because they had to see you, work, family obligations, but because they genuinely wanted to spend time with you and enjoy your conversation. If you can't remember recent examples, or if you notice that you're always the one initiating social contact, it might be time to seriously examine your social behavior. The people around you are giving you information about how you affect them. You just need to be willing to see it. Remember, the goal isn't to become someone you're not, but to become the best version of who you already are. Social skills can be learned, habits can be changed, and relationships can be repaired. The question is, are you ready to do the work, or will you continue wondering why people seem to be pulling away from you? The choice is yours. Your relationships and your happiness depend on it.